These animals never forgot their owners. They say time heals all wounds, but when it comes to animals, their hearts seem to beat in a space-time different from ours. Even after years without seeing their caregivers, these animals proved that true love never fades. Get ready to witness touching stories and emotional reunions, because for these creatures, being apart doesn't mean forgetting. So if possible, go ahead and leave your like. Let's go! This chimpanzee had been away from its owners for more than a year, and when it saw them arriving, its first reaction was to run and welcome them with a big hug. How incredible! There's nothing better than a family moment. When you imagine an animal reuniting with its owner, you probably think of a dog or a cat, right? But this woman hadn't seen her horses for over 4 months, and you could see the nervousness on her face, perhaps fearing the animals wouldn't recognize her. Yet, the moment she appeared, they all approached and greeted her with an outpouring of affection. Chimpanzees are among the most affectionate animals out there, and even after being separated from its owner for just 20 days, the joy in their reunion was beyond measure. Even when someone becomes significant in your life, it's hard to remember them after 7 years apart. This little dog's reaction was priceless. He had been separated from his owner for 7 years and went to the airport for their reunion. At first, he didn't recognize him, but after a few seconds, the dog remembered and welcomed him with leaps and hugs. I'm not sure who was more excited about this reunion, the little girl or the horse. But look at that hug she gave him. In the end, the girl even cried with emotion, and the horse went home with her to spend Christmas together.
Huggies. Huggies.
Reunions are always incredible to watch, and yet again, a dog spent a long time without seeing its owner. When it finally saw her again, its only reaction was to run and run to greet her with lots of love. Wild animals are always seen as predators we should never approach, but in certain cases, that belief can be completely false. Kiara, an adult lioness, made sure to greet her great friend, who rescued her when she was just a cub, with a strong hug, playing with him until she was worn out. Sometimes, it doesn't take much time to form a genuine connection with someone. A woman traveled to one of the coldest places on Earth and ended up befriending a wolf pack. When she returned to the area 2 months later, the entire pack not only showed they remembered her, but made sure to demonstrate their affection with a warm welcome. Remember, wolves are wild and potentially dangerous animals, making this scene a true testament to a strong and genuine bond. This beautiful bear was overjoyed to reunite with her caregiver after they had been separated for years. He always treated her with love and respect while working at the wildlife sanctuary where she lived. Perhaps due to the long time apart, she made up for it by showering him with affection during their reunion. Theo is a small capuchin monkey who was separated from his owner when she went on a 2-week trip. During their reunion, little Theo showed just how much he had missed her, and judging by his reaction, it's going to be hard for his owner to plan new trips without including the little monkey in her plans. When a cage opens and a tiger steps out, the expected reaction for most people would be to run, unless you're Numan Hassan, a Pakistani influencer known for his interactions with big cats, including tigers. Having interacted with and cared for these animals since they were cubs, his felines clearly miss their caretaker in his absence and greet him affectionately when they reunite. Elephants are known for having excellent memories, and here's proof. When this caregiver, who had been away from the elephant group for 14 months, called out one of their names, they all came running to greet him, flapping their ears. In addition to their memory, elephants are also incredibly affectionate. Look at this triple hug that their pink-clad friend received. This is amazing. What's the first thing you would do after reuniting with your pet? After seeing its caretaker for the second time, the baby chimpanzee had a royal day. A bath, a diaper change, new clothes, a car ride, and even a bottle. In the end, the little chimp was jumping with joy after such a great day. Sometimes, fate connects much more than just two people. A former US Marine worked with a military dog for years during his service. After retiring, he had the opportunity to adopt that same dog. Watch what happened when the two saw each other for the first time in years at the airport. It was as if they had never been apart. There's a reason dogs are called man's best friend. After 3 years of waiting, this dog was beyond euphoric when he saw his owner arriving home by car. Honestly, there were so many jumps, I couldn't even count them. Now, for an emotional moment, Loki, who had been missing for more than 2 years, was finally found by his owner Samantha after a team from a lost animal control center scanned his microchip and managed to contact her. What luck! Long live technology! What you're seeing now isn't crazy, but rather a man entering the natural habitat of a wild lioness to receive a big hug. This man saved the animal's life many years ago, and the lioness never forgot what he did. When a soldier had to serve in the war in Ukraine, his Siberian husky had to stay behind. But when the two reunited, the reception was more than heartwarming. Hippos are known for being fierce and very wild animals, but like all others, they too have feelings. When this hippo met the man who had rescued him as a calf, he greeted his old caretaker by wagging his ears and allowing plenty of affection. Being a war officer means not always knowing if you'll make it back home one day, but when you do, being welcomed by your best friend at the airport is the best thing in the world. So much love. And what if that welcome happens on the grass in your backyard? When you return home to two dogs waiting for you, it might seem hard to split your attention, but in the end, you always find a way. The pandemic was tough for everyone, and many people were separated from their best friends for a long time. But when it was all over, this dog made sure to welcome his owner back with plenty of love. You know you truly have a family when your wife, child, and loyal companion are waiting at the door to reunite with you after a long time apart. Surviving as a soldier in Israel is a miracle, but being welcomed home like this is a blessing. Who says lions can't greet their caretakers affectionately? At first glance, it might look like the caretaker is about to be eaten, but don't be fooled. They're just playing, and in the end, everything turns out fine. Kangaroos are exotic animals, but can also be very affectionate. This woman experienced that firsthand after saving one's life and being rewarded with a big hug. A lion abandoned shortly after birth was sent to a local rescue center, where his caretaker took excellent care of him during his childhood, becoming a close friend. Unfortunately, the young lion was later sent to a zoo, which left him depressed and completely off his appetite, often refusing to eat. But by a twist of fate, this same caretaker reunited with her wild friend, and the happiness he showed upon seeing her again was simply incredible. This woman lost her dog and mourned for 2 years before going to a shelter to adopt a puppy. But when she got there, she found her lost dog, and the two were reunited. When captured by humans, chimpanzees often spend the rest of their lives caged in zoos. Thankfully, the fate of these two chimpanzees was different. After 25 years, they recognized an old friend who had freed them from a life behind bars to live in the wild. The affection shown in this video truly concludes this story on a high note. This lion was busy walking into his cage when, "Oops," his owner called, and he came running. After being missing for 6 years, a mother and daughter finally reunited with their little dog, and their emotions could melt any heart. What would you do if you met a longtime friend? Smile, scream, or cry? This adorable chimpanzee even cried when he saw the woman who had cared for him his whole life arriving for a visit after years apart. No one forgets people who treat them well, and it was no different for this little monkey. After being separated for a year, he finally reunited with the man who cared for him as a baby. Even though the caretaker had to leave again, the monkey didn't want him to go. A little dog named Casey spent over 2 years without seeing her owner, a period that, for dogs, can feel like an eternity, considering how intensely they live each moment, and the fact that 1 human year equals about 7 dog years. No wonder she almost fainted from joy during their reunion. Thankfully, the veterinarian's diagnosis was simply too much love. Watch what happens when this man calls the elephants he cared for during his childhood. They come up to him, flapping their ears and forming a circle around him as if he's part of their family. That's amazing. Every animal in captivity or wildlife rehabilitation centers needs caretakers, and it's common for a bond to form over the years beyond the work being done. These monkeys reunited with an old caretaker and showed their joy in seeing their dear friend again. In return, the caretaker took them for a walk and gave them a bath to make them smell fresh and clean. This little bird, named Tofu, spent months without seeing his owner. Look how they played when they reunited. Afterward, Tofu went back home with his owner, and they were never separated again. Damien was an animal caretaker who left home and traveled by boat on a mission to reunite with his friend Quibi, whom he had cared for and released into the African forest as a baby. Damien waited 5 years for this to happen, and when they met again in Africa, it was as if the separation had never happened. The gorilla, now an adult, was so happy that he didn't want Damien to leave and used a hug to keep him there. This woman is the only one who can safely approach these wild lions. They were overjoyed to see the person who saved them from malnutrition as cubs, and nothing beats a big hug filled with love to thank her for all she's done. This might seem like another story of an animal getting emotional during a reunion with its owner. But in reality, this camel was crying because its owner had just passed away in a car accident. What a sad moment. When you're with your pet, there are countless things you can do together. How about relaxing by a lake? It seems like our bear friend even got a snack as a treat. When the company is good, you never want them to leave, and that's exactly what this kangaroo did with its owner. The tactic was simple: infinite hugs until she couldn't take it anymore. This next moment is very simple, but just seeing how happy the little monkey was to see his owner shows how special their bond is. The profession of animal caretaker could be considered one of the best jobs in the world, and yet again, a lioness was thrilled to reunite with her best friend who had cared for her throughout her life. If that's not friendship, I don't know what is. A year apart from their caretaker feels like 10 for animals, and this caracal couldn't stop licking his best friend after being away for so long. Love is in the air. A tight hug is more than enough to show how much you love someone, and this seal managed to convey her feelings in this unique moment. Nothing compares to coming home and being greeted by one of the most affectionate animals in nature, the rabbit. Who says bears can't be affectionate? This bear's owner greeted him with open arms, only to end up falling into the snow with him to celebrate his return home. There's no such thing as a bad day that can't be improved by moments like these. A dog who hadn't seen his owner in a long time watched him come home with open arms, ready to play until the next day. You'll never see a scene like this again. A baby monkey that had been away from his owner was so joyful that their hug lasted more than 5 minutes. Elephants can hug too. Even without arms, they use their trunks to warmly greet a friend during special moments. When this goose saw its best friend approaching, it made sure to show it had never forgotten him. You can clearly see the love they share. This other goose did the same, and its siblings waited their turn to follow. At this moment, words aren't necessary. Just enjoy the affection between a donkey and its owner, who hadn't seen each other in years. Animals tend to be great companions when they sense you're vulnerable. This boy had to undergo 3 surgeries on his leg, and guess who was there to greet him the moment he left the hospital? The love from his dog gave him all the strength he needed to get through this difficult time. No animal turns against a human when their friendship reaches a unique level, and this moment is definitive proof of that. Before her owner left, the alpaca made sure to say goodbye with a big dose of affection, and he made sure to capture it on camera. There's nothing better than having a goat as a friend and being welcomed like this when you meet again after a long time. Dogs get lost all the time, and it can be difficult to find them in situations like these. But this dog got lucky and experienced one of the happiest moments of his life when he reunited with his owner. She even tried to hide behind a wall, but the dog never forgot her scent, making it really easy to find her.
He's looking. He's hearing you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Can sharks and humans be friends? In some cases, yes. Look at how this professional diver Christina Zanato made sure to greet her maritime best friend with a head rub. No wonder she's known as the shark mother. A veterinarian did everything possible to help this bird return to the wild after a severe accident, and even months after treatment, the animal still recognized him, and its happiness says it all. Here's something you probably didn't know about monkeys. They love children. Look at the hug it gave one of its favorite caretakers. Could you see the size of its affection? It doesn't matter if you're annoyed or tired after a long day at work. One thing is for sure, your little dog will always be there to welcome you with love when you get home. Certain pigs can also connect with humans, and these two were evidently delighted to see their caretaker back home. As soon as this man returned home, after 3 months in the hospital, his bird, who missed him every single day of his absence, made sure to greet him with a big hug. This lovely lady ended up losing her cat during a natural disaster, but in the end, everything worked out. She reunited with her feline and made sure to stay close to him. A homeless man, even without a house to live in, missed his pet rat, which had disappeared. But after some time, a generous police officer found his beloved friend, and the two were reunited again. Even though it was born in the ice, this penguin's heart melted when it reunited with its caretaker. In a special court case, a judge had to decide who would get to keep the family dog. She made the best decision possible, letting the dog decide. In the end, it chose the man who had cared for it all its life. This woman made sure to greet her pet tiger by playing and approaching it as if she were one of its own species. But to end the playtime, the tiger simply jumped straight onto her so they could hug immediately. For many people, driving 50 kilometers by car is a big deal. And what if I told you that a penguin swam across an entire ocean just to find the fisherman who once saved its life? It's impressive how far love can take not just people but animals too. To wrap things up, how about a mother and son who found a bear cub and, years later, made sure to take a photo together when the bear was all grown up and with one of its cubs? So folks, these moments were amazing, right? Comment below what you thought of this video, leave your like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Binge Banzo's channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos. See you next time, thanks!